Hey Steve, hope you are well. So, check in here. Overall, very good week. Weight is back up. Food, I've been making sure I've been onto the higher end because I know that's been an issue in the past. There's probably being conscious of the weight gain, and I don't want to muck around. Especially, I just think being in lockdown, it's just, yeah. Let's just obviously we're not out and about as much, so let's just make sure there's no mucking around when it comes to actually putting on some solid weight. But so food has been good on the higher end. Make sure that weight is coming up nicely, as you will see. I'm not sure how much of that is. Yeah, it was a bit more of a whoosh this week, but I'm not sure how much of that was a bit digestive as well. But who knows? Other than that, training wise, felt pretty good. I think this is this. I've enjoyed this meso coming towards the end now. I feel much more back in the zone, and I do feel like this is going into the last week because I've been waking up a bit more tired. I do feel like I push myself more, and I'm a bit unsure on how I can, and I'm a bit worried about trying to beat some progressions going into this last week on the presses. So that's a good sign. Overall, I feel like it's been a good split. Happy with how we've got on. The no real issues with movements or anything like that. I feel like the last session, the more shoulder and arm dominant one, actually works out quite nicely in terms of a bit less on the CNS. But it's quite interesting from your point of view that how much there's So, for example, I think maybe because I'm used to doing like a push and a pull separately, so maybe having them on the same day may impact the performance and maybe a bit of stability a little bit. I guess at the delts because they get worked regardless, but. Nothing too major there, just interested there. But other than that, honestly, I feel like it's been quite a good meso. I feel like we made some progress this one. Looking forward to going last week. I do feel like this is the last week for meso for the first time in probably since I don't even know when the gyms were. I guess like since the gyms were shut. Even that first, I think initially when we got back into the gym twice. I think it was like I felt a bit fatigued just from being back in there. So definitely the first time the gyms were open, we had that spell. It felt like I definitely felt like I was progressing through, hitting the deloads nicely. Then the second one, I guess it was a bit weird because it was a bit pointless being open. But then I think from December, a couple of weeks around early Jan, I wasn't probably pushing as hard as I could have. I found it a bit harder but anyway, last few weeks been really good. Motivation was high. The training with my brother on the weekend, it does help to an extent. For that one main session really is the upper session. Just gives me a little bit more of a push, and if anything, it probably makes me just be a bit more focused in the zone. Normally I love being on my own, but I think it's easy to come in and maybe half-arse it a bit, so that's been good. No real questions. Looking forward to going into this last week, and the deload will be needed, which is good because I do feel like I've been a bit more tired, waking up a bit more tired, so that may have been an effect of the meso. Couple of only real questions is I think nothing really actually water wise. So for me, I always have at least. I think my water intake is down. I think when I was like PTing on the gym floor all the time, I was more about like close to the 4 litre mark. But I feel like now I'm like down towards the 2 to 3, which probably is impacting things. So it's interesting to see how much of an impact you reckon that will have. Other than that, quick question: what do you think of all the? I never had them, but I remember when I worked with Cal back in the past, he recommended them, but I'm not sure if I noticed the effects too much. Was the old Support Max Neuros, like PM stacks and all those sort of things, like how much of a benefit do you really think they have? I sometimes find like if I had things, or the fade out I had in the past as well, does help with sleep. I found I don't want to get reliant on those sort of things for sleep. So interesting to think of that. And what do you reckon for the next meso? Are we going to be sticking with this format a little bit more volume, or are we going to go metabolite, or is that in a later phase? Just quite interested there. But other than that, thank you for your help. Looking forward to hearing back from you and enjoying the podcast at the moment. I think one thing I do miss is maybe through summer or when I used to have the commute, was I was able to just listen to stuff. So occasionally I think yours and even when you and Pascal are just chatting a load of rubbish, like obviously I relate to a lot of the stuff you guys talk about, so it's quite just interesting just having a bit more of that sort of aspect. So I think that's pretty good, just hearing about what's going down on that. So thank you, and I'll speak to you soon.